Hi, I'm Kimberly Maul, and I'm a reporter with PR Week, here with Randy Pitzer, the Managing Director of Porter Novelli's Chicago office. So can you tell me a little bit about what's happening in Chicago right now, and if there's a lot of RFPs and activity going on?
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on in Chicago. It's a big center of business, and I think there's a lot going on in the corporate area, in the healthcare area, then also in consumer. We have a lot of major consumer firms there. I've seen a lot of activity pick up in recent weeks, so that's real exciting for us.
Great. Yeah, is there a particular industry within kind of consumer or corporate that's seeing more activity?
It seems like in retail there's some things going on there. We presently work with the owner-operators of McDonald's in the Chicagoland area. That's what we call Chicagoland. And it seems that there's a lot more going on. They're relying more on public relations to help drive sales, and we've actually had some programming where we've done that. And so I think other other retail outlets are seeing those kinds of things, and they can understand that what we do for them can actually drive sales.
And on the corporate side, I've been hearing a little bit about companies really coming to PR firms for management or reputation management. Is that something that you're seeing an increase in as well?
I think so. I think there's a lot of activity or thought around what's going on in the Gulf these days, and the equity that you have to build up in terms of reputation to be successful or to tap that later on. I think BP sees that. And I think people recognize that your reputation does drive business opportunities, and it drives sales and success in business, and that you really have to think of the reputation much like a consumer brand, if you will, the corporate brand. And it's important to have a good, viable, great reputation around your brand in order for you to be successful in the marketplace.
And then looking at Chicago, is it a different market regionally or geographically compared to like New York or out in California? How so?
That's a very interesting question, because we're presently going through an RFP process with a large firm in Chicago, and the question is, do large firms who are based in Chicago relate to maybe other groups outside? And I think it's kind of a balance. A lot of international firms understand that you have to work with other different regions in the country and the world and understand that. But there is this thing about, the Midwestern values and hard work and that sort of thing, especially in the city of broad shoulders is what Chicago's called. And I do believe that you really have to have at the core of what you're doing with a client in Chicago, but also bring them the rest of the resources like Porter Novelli offers from around the globe to support their business goals.
Great. And right now we're in the middle of summer. It's like 100 degrees out right now. And what's the summer like in your office, and what's going on? Is it all about planning or strategizing?
The summer's interesting in Chicago. First of all, the weather. I gripe about it during the winter because it's so cold, but it's that cold weather that helps out every few days. The lake breezes come in and they cool off these hot days. I think there's a lot of excitement in the summertime in Chicago, because I think sometimes warm weather is at a premium in Chicago, and people are just more excited about things. I think about the future business. I know right now the economy's got us all down a little bit, but I think it really does help for our team in particular to help service clients better and that sort of thing. So everything is good right now.
Great. And are there any exciting campaigns that you can tell us about that you're working on, or anything launching later this summer?
The fall always picks up. There are some things we're doing with McDonald's right now. We work on the J&J business as well, and as the trade show season picks up, that always becomes more active around introducing new products and that sort of thing. And Chicago's a big trade show city, so a lot of things happen there that we have to host a lot of our colleagues from elsewhere, and a lot of clients come into town. So trade show season starting in early September, running through the middle of November, is a really big time in Chicago, and we provide a lot of support for that.
Great. And then how long have you been with Porter?
I've only been with Porter for a few months, and I really like it a lot. Porter's philosophy and my philosophy are very similar, and it's what we're going to do in Chicago in terms of try to drive our differentiation, which is we're about delivering business results to clients, and that's our first and foremost goal. We know at the end of the day, if a business isn't doing well, then they're not going to need public relations or communications, and that's a philosophy around Porter Novelli. We want to in some way affect change that helps the business in a positive way. And I really like that. I'm really glad I'm here. It's really exciting. A job, and the agency I think is really in sync with what I think about.
Great. Yeah, along those lines, what goals do you have for the Chicago office and your time here at Porter?
Well, you know, I would like to see us in the next 3 to 5 years become a top tier firm. You know, in Chicago, there are the 2 homegrown firms who have a big presence, and then there's the rest of the nationals. We're one of them, are global firms that has an office, and you have to be in Chicago. There's no question about it.
Right.
And so what I want to do is move up, elevate our brand. We're going to be doing a lot of work around that in terms of marketing and new business. Elevate our brand, really try to make us one of the top 5 within the next 3 to 5 years. But I think more importantly, I want clients or prospects to come to Porter Novelli because they get different thinking. We're not going to be like the rest of the firms there. We think differently. It's all based in research and how we can affect change, and that's the way we approach it, and then also deliver business results. And I want, when people have RFPs and they've got the short list, I want them to look and say, oh, we've got to have Porter Novelli because they think far differently than the other firms. And I think that's what we are, and I think that's how we want to promote ourselves in Chicago.
Great. Well, thanks so much for taking some time to talk with us.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks.